Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Wednesday, everyone. It is time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So guys, the time had come to do some shop cleaning and organizing, and I know that's not the most exciting topic of all time, and I can assure you we didn't literally spend all day on it, but it needed to be done. So I won't talk about it for too long because it's, again, not a super exciting topic. But yeah, you can see now if you watch the show routinely, you know, these shelves are usually like all packed with parts. And so, yeah, we had a few projects that wrapped up recently. One of them was the One Family Sea Blue 64 that was occupying, I think, maybe these two shelves or that one and this one. I don't even remember. And then the 54 barn door bus had at least a shelf here, maybe a shelf and a half. And then 36 horse motor, which is kind of just an ongoing project, not for any particular car that we kind of build off and on here. Consolidated that. So yeah, freed up a lot of space here, guys. And again, no, this is not the most exciting topic ever, but it's just part of running a shop. Sometimes stuff just kind of has a way of accumulating because we're always trying to like move on to the next project. So finally we took time to just consolidate things, got rid of a lot of stuff and clean stuff up. And likewise, this wall over here, which still looks a little bit messy, but trust me, it was way worse. And there were just boxes piled up everywhere that had like a few, you know, literally like an entire cardboard box that had like a few screws in it and some part that we would never use. So yeah, all that stuff's gone now. And we worked inside of the storage container a little bit outside doing some of the same stuff. So anyway, again, not the most exciting thing, but needed to be done. So I had most of the team kind of helping out with that this morning. There's some outside areas where we have some shelves too that we cleaned up a lot, like even more than that. But I'm not gonna force that on you guys. So anyway, why don't we talk about a little bit of what actually happened around here today on cars. And since I'm standing in front of the 64 Beetle here, let me go ahead and start with that. So I did get all of the 12 volt bulbs from Wolfsburg West. I got the 12 volt armature, which they make, that drops right in a 6 volt wiper motor that converts it to 12 volts without having to have a voltage drop or any kind of messy nonsense like that. So anyway, that order came in today. All those bulbs, armature, a few other random things to convert this car to 12 volts. So I went ahead and put all the bulbs in and actually put a battery in it, not the one that we're going to use in this car, but our shop 12 volt battery. Went ahead and hooked it up. And then usually what I do when a car doesn't have a motor in it and I want to test out electrical, here's something you guys can do, is you can take all of these cables that normally connect to like the battery to the starter, and then like the car itself, the wiring harness to the starter, and then there's a bunch of wires here that normally connect on and between the starter and then the voltage regulator. So you can pretty much, any of those that are 12 volts, you can tie them together. So usually what I do is I just like throw a bolt with a nut through them and tie those all together. And now when you connect a battery, if you turn on the ignition switch, the car will be live, so to speak, as far as you know, lights, getting power, stuff like that. If you have the motor and the transmission out of the car and these aren't connected to anything and you hook the battery up, nothing will be receiving power, because that's, again, how the cars receive power is the battery hooks up to the starter, which in turn hooks up to the generator or the regulator at this point, and then the car hooks up to the wiring harness, kind of hooks up from there. So yeah, you can just tie all that stuff together. And again, make sure it's all stuff that's actually 12 volts. Don't accidentally connect to ground there. But yeah, you can, if you know what you're doing and be safe, of course, you can just tie all those together temporarily. Obviously, make sure they're not grounding out against anything. And then, yeah, then you can test everything in the car without having, you know, even a transmission or motor or anything in there that normally would tie those together. Anyway, that was a bit long-winded, but may be helpful for someone. So yeah, tied all those together, put a battery in, hooked it up, and then, yeah, tested everything out. Everything works great, all the lights, everything. Again, pretty much all I was doing was replacing bulbs, so I wouldn't really expect anything to not work. But, you know, still, since I had a little bit of time to spare, went ahead and tested all of that stuff so that now when the transmission and motor and all that go in, I'll pretty much know that all the other sort of ancillary things work. The horn, I forgot to buy a 12-volt horn for it, so when you honk it now with the 6-volt horn at 12 volts, it sounds like a duck having a heart attack or something. What else? So I need to replace that still. And then I don't know why, for some reason, whoever built this car, the shop that did the restoration, they put a hard start relay in here. I don't know any reason to do that on a car that has a brand new wiring harness where everything's new. I'm assuming that shop did it. But anyway, there's a hard start relay up underneath there. And I'll probably just leave it, honestly. It doesn't really hurt anything, but I need to buy a relay, a 12-volt relay, because the one that's in there now, I'm sure, is only rated for 6 volts. So I also need to swap that relay out. So swap the relay out, swap the horn out, and then at that point, everything in the car should be 12 volts. And only thing I had to do is the license plate light was not coming on, and it looked like whoever built this car didn't really take the time to make sure there was a good ground in here between the bulb holder and the metal housing here. So usually what we do is underneath the lens, there's the metal bulb holder here. That needs to ground against the housing itself here. So usually we scrape the paint off on those two areas, and that makes a really good ground then. So that wasn't done, and it wasn't getting the ground. So took that out, fixed that, and then boom, this came on, super bright, looks great. So yeah, I would guess that the license plate light on this car probably never worked because there was no ground there at all. And I don't think me changing the bulb in here necessarily affected it. There was just a lot of paint and no real good way for anything to ground. So anyway, that works very good now. So that was pretty much that car. Hope to have the transmission back for it probably, hopefully early, maybe mid next week. And then this car can go back together with its new 1699 cc 12-volt motor. So cool. All right. So that was kind of my afternoon, really, because again, we spent like half or more than half the day doing all this cleaning and rearranging and stuff like that. I did also work a little bit, and I'm not going to step out there right now, but the tennis ball, everyone's favorite fluorescent yellow Beetle, I did work a tiny bit on it. And what happened was, guys, not surprisingly recently, is the oil pressure switch on that car went bad. We have been having so many parts go bad lately. And so when I drove that car, if you saw the video the other day, I took that car on its little maiden voyage around our little parking lot track that we usually take it on. Everything worked great. And then I think I was moving the car or something later, and the idiot light for the oil pressure kind of started coming on like at idle, and I was like, what's up with this? And I revved the motor a little bit and it would kind of go out, and then it just came on and stayed on. And that motor had previously been broken in, it had been dynoed, had amazing oil pressure, so I immediately suspected it was probably the switch and not a true oil pressure issue with the motor. And so when I popped open the engine compartment and looked this switch, it was basically leaking oil between the plastic part and the metal part here, which is usually when they go bad and start leaking, that's pretty much where it comes from. So yeah, it was very oily looking. And so anyway, got a new switch and put it on today. And of course, instantly the light went out and stayed out like it should when the motor was running. So yeah, basically another bad part, guys. I don't really know what's happening recently. It's getting pretty irritating. If you follow the channel, we had a sort of a string of bad ATE master cylinders, and just other I can't even remember. There's been so many bad parts lately. So not fun, guys. But anyway, so yeah, replace that. Should be good to go. I'll probably take that thing on its first road test tomorrow. So please tune in tomorrow for that. Hopefully I will get that done. This one I didn't really do anything with today since I worked on it a lot tomorrow. I don't have any show and tell, but Jacob worked a lot on sandblasting for this car. He sandblasted the window regulators and some of the door mechanism parts and a bunch of stuff like that. And then the other thing he did was and again, I don't have show and tell, for the 67 Beetle, which is now Java Green, formerly Pearl White, he cleaned and polished the sunroof rails, the aluminum sunroof rails. So cleaned and polished those. They look amazing. And so that was Jacob's day. Rafa, again, kind of helped me out cleaning a bunch of stuff. And then what else did he do here? Hold on. Here we go, guys. Yeah, so I kind of forgot about that. So last couple parts for also for the tennis ball there, the bright yellow Beetle. So we finally managed to hunt down some of the missing airbox clips. That's this clip here. So we got a couple of those. And then Rafa cleaned those up and a couple other very random parts for that motor. And those are going to be gold zinc plated. So we'll drop those off with our zinc plater next time we take a run over there. I think there were some other minor things Rafa did today, but pretty much that was the main one, at least it's coming to mind now. So a little bit of a short episode today, guys, due to the fact that we spent about half the day cleaning and organizing the shop. But thank you all for watching, and we will see you again soon. Bye.